Important topic that's near and dear to all of our hearts.
Boobies.
And
Should be.
boobies, yes, boobies. We all love boobies. You know,
Latina pussy.
way to you're getting us off topic here, Dan, because we can have a whole other conversation about that.
He said titties.
But let's calm down.
Okay, I like it. It's good for the.
I think DJ needs to be the one to lead us off with this one.
Well, I guess since it was my topic, then yeah, I guess I'll lead us off. But like mine was just speaking on. All of us are men up here, or about to be.
That's a grown ass man sitting over there.
With that voice, yeah, he is.
Did you not see the damn? He shaved like 2 days ago.
Maybe he doesn't want to be a man. Don't push that on him.
Anyways,
That man shaved 2 days ago and he already got a damn mustache again.
Jesus Christ. All right. Anyways,
Fucking werewolf over here.
but
Somebody like
what we're going to discuss to reel it back in was like because everybody does need to have this open dialogue about men's mental health, and like I will say the stigma around it,
Yeah.
because there is one, and we all know that it's there, and whether we talk about it or not is kind of up to us. But like we all know it's there. It's almost like, you know how you just know something, like, but I don't kind of want to, talk to him about it because I don't want him to think I'm a pussy, or I don't want to talk to, because it's a thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. It's definitely
Yeah.
a thing.
Yeah.
Kind of like what's on the TV, the unwritten rules of baseball.
Don't be-
Like there are the unwritten or unspoken rules.
Yeah.
So like when it comes to men's mental health, a lot of men don't speak up or don't say anything because
Right.
it's like, I don't want to be perceived as
Weak.
Exactly.
That's the biggest one, I think.
Mhm.
yeah.
I think we should dive into that one first. It's
Unwritten rule.
No, it's just like well, yeah, yeah, and it's almost like why is it that way? Is if I know I have something wrong, or it's almost like men can't be perceived as human sometimes. Like we have to be superhuman.
Held to that higher level.
Yeah, you are right.
If you think about it, like when somebody thinks of the definition of what is a man, what are some of the first terms that come to mind?
Strong.
Strong.
Yeah.
Conqueror, provider.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Protector.
all those
Yeah.
things. At no point in time does it ever seem like men should have any other emotions other than anger.
Anger or
Condolence.
not even that.
No, because
No.
you're definitely because if the woman is sad, you're supposed to be there. To console
Anger
her.
is the biggest emotion that most people think that men feel, or like should have.
Yeah, there was like, oh, he's angry. What other than that? What other emotion would you say is tied to like just being a man? Because like, think about this: when you hear
Pride.
yeah,
Sexual.
no, I just said
Sexual.
emotion. Emotion, like I was like, because pride isn't necessarily an emotion; it's just more a state of mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean, or something
Hey,
that you can
okay.
have. But like when you think about, I'm just gonna give you this as as a talking point. When you think about women, what would you say is an emotion more tied to them? There's many,
Yep.
many.
Countless.
But when you
caring,
when you think loving,
Nurturing.
caring, nurturing, like empathetic. But when you think about a guy, when you say, all right, well, what's tied to men? You would think, okay, anger, and exactly,
They're always horny. They always want the puss.
yeah, and that's not even an emotion.
It's not.
you can say like grumpy.
But
Which ties back in anger.
Yeah. Proud is actually
Actually, that's not a bad one. Superiority.
Yeah, well, depends on what you think.
That's kind of like a complex or
Yeah.
a mindset.
Yeah,
I, don't
I
wanna
would say
complex,
pride. That's
a mindset.
that would go into pride, and that would depend on the person. But I would say like as far as like painting with broad strokes, that is like how we're perceived. Is either angry or stoic. Like
Stubborn.
You don't feel anything. Like stoic because this is the way I have to be. Because if I am walking around here crying all the fucking time, or if I am walking around here showing any other emotion, like have y'all ever felt this way? And just to say, like,
Open up in the comments.
I was not even soft, but vulnerable. Not soft, vulnerable. Like I was vulnerable with said person. The first thing we think is if I'm vulnerable with that person, it can be used against me.
Absolutely.
Because they will,
100%.
because they might use it against me.
Right.
100%.
You know what I'm saying?
I know some people that are going through that at the moment, and it's not the people you guys think.
Okay.
Someone completely different who's going through that, and they were supposed to do some certain things and they didn't, and I was extremely upset. But they were all supposed to do this thing for another person that I know. Same situation. A little bit different circumstances, but similar situation.
Okay.
And me and the other guy, we know what was going down. But we don't want to be the one to tell this man. We know what's going on and shit needs to change. Because we don't want to be that guy. You don't want to be the guy.
You're being painfully vague. Like it's
Because I'm not trying to use names. I'm not trying to
Don't use names, but like you're trying to say that somebody.
So
like one friend was doing something that
Okay,
he shouldn't have been doing.
No.
and
So
you didn't wanna
I
call
have
out
I have a broad spectrum of friends.
Right.
I had a friend of mine get married back in October.
Okay.
A certain other person was supposed to be there. A certain circumstance kept him from doing that.
Okay, that's why
I
was
got
just like,
married.
okay.
I got married. Certain friends said he was going to be there. Day of. Certain circumstance kept him from going.
Okay.
We all know what said circumstance is. But none of me or the other guy want to be the one to tell him, this is the common denominator. This is what's holding you back. This is what's going on. Because we already know that he is feeling vulnerable for missing said events. We already know that he's already feeling bad about it. And we don't want to add on to it.
Well, you didn't want to weaponize it.
Yeah, I don't want to weaponize it.
Okay.
I don't want to weaponize it. I don't want to make him feel worse about said situation. So, water under the bridge. Well, said friend reaches out, tells me what's going on in personal life. I already know. I'm not dumb. Everyone already knows. I told him that. I even says like, dude, everyone already knows. Like, you're not hiding anything. And he has to break down to another man that this is what's going on. This is how I'm feeling. What can I do? What do you think I need to do? And the only thing you can give him your best advice. But I always end my advice with, don't listen to me. Don't. Like, take what I said, mull it around in your brain, but make your own decisions. Don't do what I'm telling you to do. Take what I'm telling you into consideration when you make said decisions. Because what I'm telling you is how I would handle that certain situation. That may not be how you handle that situation. But if you've handled similar situations before and it's always ended the same way, maybe you need a different perspective. So you have your personal experience, you ask someone else for theirs, they tell you what they would do in that situation, maybe you can take the median.
Right.
Does that make sense?
You're talking about more so the process. I'm talking about.
Yeah.
What
I get what you're saying
Okay.
because trying to.
I'm more speaking to it as a whole, like as a thing that people may not think is real.
But
You're speaking more so to the process.
yeah,
of,
I went too far with it.
No, you just went really in depth when it was just we need to get to the surface level of it, and then we'll get to like the more nuances of what that really is. But like what I was speaking to is just like, say if there is, all right, let's just say hypothetical scenario here. You're with your significant other, whether it be male or female. You are a man, right? You are you're the man, and you are expressing yourself in in as in a vulnerable state. This to us, we don't do this with everybody.
No.
Like we don't open up. We don't talk about everything. Like we can have shitty days at work. Do we come home and call each other? We're pretty close.
Oh, we are. We're all
Do
very close.
do we come home and call each other and tell each other about our shitty days at work?
No, not at all.
You know what? You know why we don't? Because it's been instilled in most of us, all of us, that yeah, you need to fucking deal with it. Like shitty days are gonna happen. Better man the fuck up. How many times have we been told to man the fuck up, walk it off, rub some dirt on it?
Don't cry.
Don't cry. Even though you are feeling every emotion, like all right, hypothetical situation that I was gonna bring up was say if you're just with your significant other and you're talking about something that I don't know, anything that could have just rocked you to your core to where like, damn, like I'm vulnerable and I might open up about like my thoughts or my fears or something like that. Like, let's just say you have a fear of just, I don't know, I might die alone one day. Like, I don't want to be alone. Don't want to be that person. In the back of your head, you're still having reservations, even though I should trust this person.
Yep.
I'm still having reservations of, should I talk to her about this or should I tell her this or him, her, whoever. But without it being like, ooh, she could use this or he could use this against me.
Now, to speak on that, and I'm not trying to like throw like a con in your statement because
No,
I wholeheartily agree with you.
No, you can speak free.
But I do also believe that you have to be comfortable with your significant other.
No,
Because,
and yeah.
Like with mine, like I can have a shitty day at work,
Uh-huh.
and I'm not gonna call you. I'm not gonna call Mike. I'm not gonna call Ryan. But oh man, fuck a shitty day at work. I'm not gonna do that. But I'm gonna get home. I'm gonna go about my business, and Kimber will come home, and first thing she asks me, the first thing I always ask her, how was work? First thing, and she'll tell me everything. She'll be like, oh, this teacher called in, and I had these kids doing this, these kids doing that. It was hell on earth. Shit, baby, I'm sorry. Is there anything I can do to help you? Like stuff like that, and then she'll do the same thing. She'll ask me like, oh, what'd you do at work today? Like, oh, we had to do this. I was down in a fucking 10-foot deep hole all fucking day. I had to fucking manhandle all this other shit. I'm fucking tired. She'll be like, okay, well, if you're tired, I don't want to cook. You don't want to cook. Like, hey, let's just order something and hang out. Let's just chill out, forget the day, mellow, calm down.
Right.
So it's all about being comfortable with your significant other to be able to talk to them about this stuff. And as a man, that's a hard concept to do. You have to be extremely comfortable. And I mean extremely comfortable
Yeah.
to let that guard down a little bit.
Ain't no girlfriends.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
Because you can have a girlfriend and try to do that same shit. When y'all break up, all of a sudden, guess what? She on Facebook. Oh, my ex man, he a bitch ass pussy. This motherfucker over here, he over here crying all the damn time. He being a little bitch. He can't do nothing. That's how that shit breaks down.
So, with that though, and this is a big, cause of the problem, is I have a best friend that, calls me every morning on his way to work shooting shit.
Oh, it's not me. Okay.
And
Just
when,
making
we,
sure.
and when we have a bad, or he has a bad day, he'll call me and talk to me about it. Same thing with him, man. If I'm pissed off, I don't want to talk to my wife about it. I'm gonna call my buddy.
I know you call me from time to time.
And that's, what I mean? But because he has done that and he might be a little more on the feminine side, he has been called gay every day, every time he's in a relationship, to the point where he went into a circumstance to maybe see if he was gay. Because you're gay, you're gay, you're gay, you're gay, you're gay, you're gay. Well, fuck, maybe I am gay. Maybe they're right. Fuck, I ain't gay. What?
Yeah.
No, but that's half the problem is if you do something that maybe a woman does, like call your best friend when you got shit day, or want to shoot shit.
Or show actual
You're gay.
emotion.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
show emotion. You're gay.
Well, the thing is doesn't matter if you're man or woman. We're all human, and we all have human emotions.
Right.
It doesn't matter what gender you are. But the problem is that if a man shows too much of one emotion, whether it be sadness or anything that's other than the regular emotions for men, that's automatic thing. They're labeled. It's too girly. It's gay. You know that you're, and you get that stigma. So I mean, I mean, like you said, it's just a matter of how do we move on from that as a society?
Yeah.
Because it's been instilled to us since, at least I mean, even from my side, like my dad was very strict, very hard, very men don't cry, you know, get up, dust your knees off. Like I got hit in the eye with a baseball, and I was told not to cry. I was 7.
Yeah.
Like there are things that just like how do we move on and get away from that? Because so many men are holding things back, and it's becoming too much for them.
Because I will say this to speak to your point. Too many men are holding things back, and I will say not all men are built the same.
Right.
Like we ain't all cut. Like not everybody's cut from the same cloth. Not everybody's has that grit in them that is like, yeah, I can push this down, and learn how to compartmentalize certain things, and then deal with it as it comes. But like to kind of elaborate on a lot of things that you said, it's just like, yeah, like I think it was instilled in a lot of older men, the generation before all of us, and then what trickled into us was, you know, you have to be the man, you have to be the tough guy, you have to be this, you have to be that, you have to be strong, all of these things. Not saying that you shouldn't or couldn't be,
Right.
but you do. Like I think what was missed in that was that men are multifaceted. We're not just one thing. We're not just, hey, you need to be tough. Like, cause I'll give it to you. Like I can have a tough demeanor sometimes. Like I can have that. I was like, but what I'm trying to do with, I guess, age, maybe wisdom, is like not necessarily say that like this is my thing and this is how I have to be all the time. Because like, especially raising daughters, like I can't be that way all the time. Or just being like a functioning human being, like I can't be one thing all the time.
Right.
But I also wanted to, the main reason I wanted to like open up this dialogue is because like I said, age and wisdom, it started to be apparent that like it's not just me. Like that it's just like, damn man, like does anybody else like feel like that like this is pressed upon us even in this new day and age? Like that this is pressed upon us and they're like it's not fair.
It's not.
No.
Yeah, because like we have to be the strong one, the tough one, the provider, the this, that, and the third. All these things that are the expectation upon us, we have to live up to that. But at the same time, it's like, well, you better not show an ounce of weakness. You better not show this. You better not have a bad day. You better not, like, or it can be weaponized against you. And I use significant other as an example at first, but yeah, hell, by your own contemporaries, like you said, by like your own friends, your own peer group. And so like I think that's like I can have these dialogues with y'all because like I do trust y'all. Like I can have this dialogue over the internet because I know this is a thing, and I feel comfortable enough to talk about anything in front of anybody.
Yeah.
You know, and just to, even if this one voice, that one, can just say, like, no, you're not the only one. Sometimes that's what people need to hear. Because I'm not going to talk about other negative things that can come from feeling that way. We all know what I'm alluding to. But I think some people need to hear that. I don't know how many people even listen to this podcast. But if that one person hears it and they're like, huh, and they can take that one sigh of relief
Yeah.
for that long.
And
I think
honestly,
it's important.
any men listening right now, if you don't have someone to talk to,
Or women.
yeah, or women, if y'all don't have someone to talk
And
to,
you think that, oh shit, I didn't know that.
DM us. The only people that have access to our account is the 3 guys you see sitting here and Mike. So if something along those lines, 4 guys. The only 4 guys that have access to the account is Ryan, DJ, myself, and Mike. And we don't want anyone else feeling that same way. So if anyone does have any form of problems that you can't talk to your mom, your dad, you can't talk to your friends about it. We're open ears. And all we can do is we can give you the best advice that we have. Because I promise you, a situation that you're in, one of us has probably been through it. Because we've been through some shit. I mean, DJ knows I've been through some shit. Ryan knows I've been through some shit. Mike knows I've been through some shit.
Vice versa.
I say, I know Ryan's been through some shit. I know DJ's been through some shit. I know Mike's been through some shit. For the most part, in our little 4 group, we're more or less an open book to each other. We know what's going on. So we've taken, the collective issues or whatever, and we've kind of, we have advice for situations.
Yeah.
Now, it's advice that we would do in particular situations. So, like I was alluding to earlier, you take our advice with a grain of salt, add it to your situation,
Yeah.
use it. We're open for that, guys.
What's up, Percy?
I think when it comes to, as much as I guess hate to put the stigma on it, but when it comes to like mental health, especially with men, the one word that continues to pop into my brain is like, as much as I hate to make the comparison, is shame.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Why? Because kind of like nowadays, it's easier for someone to come out and say, "Hey, I'm gay, I'm bi, I'm trans, I'm whatever the case may be." It's easier for people nowadays to do that than it is for a man to say, "Okay, I'm feeling vulnerable with this," or "This is my weakness." Why? Because you constantly feel like you're taking off that armor and you're leaving yourself open and vulnerable for any and every shot that is taken. And then all it does at the end of the day, if there is something that comes back that's negative, ultimately all it does is it makes you build that wall even higher.
Yeah.
Yep. Every damn time.
Because I'll say this as just a difference between. All right, let's just say. All right, hate that I got to draw the line in the sand here, but let's just say if there were, all right, there is, if there are this many women saying that like, hey, these are our issues, like this is what's going on, like this is, like a thing that happens to multiple, like, how many people would crucify them for saying that they have, or you know what I mean, or have a rebuttal or a clap back or a this or that or something negative to say or walk it off, dust it off, like da 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 da. But when it comes to the flip side, like, if we want to say that we're all human here, we all feel the same like emotions, whether we want to admit it or not.
Right.
Why is it that way? You know what I'm saying? Not saying that it's fair, but why is it that way? And then that's why I said like we're always made up to be like superheroes, basically. Like if you ask a kid like, run of the mill kid like, oh, who's your oh, my dad's my hero. Like he's no, my dad can beat up your dad. Why? Because
he's big thing back in the day. My dad beat up your dad.
Why? Because he's supposed to be seen as tough and aggressive and strong and all of these things, but nothing else, right?
But you also got to look at it from that point of view as when you were a kid, it was my dad could beat up your dad, right? That's what it always was, right? Right? So whenever you become a father, that was always my dad could beat up your dad. So now you're now you're a father, and you got to be. Oh, my dad can beat up your dad like bet.
Dude.
My dad's the strongest motherfucker that ever walked the face of the planet. My dad can whoop your dad's ass.
But okay.
So you have to build up to that same mentality that was
Do you?
thrown on you. Or you don't have to, but in
we
your
do.
mind, that's what you're thinking. You're like, well, shit, I got to be
Right.
as tough as my kids think I am.
Right. Yeah, that's the thing. I'm saying, do you? And that's what you're saying. Mike.
So a lot of the expectation that gets set on a man from women is, oh yeah, I want him to be an asshole to everyone else, but sweet as a peach.
I don't even think
I
it's
would- I
an
would-
asshole. I think it's they
But
want, they
that's
want a
word
strong.
They want a strong man who's going to defend them
Yeah.
at every corner, no matter what's happening. A woman talking down to him like, bitch, step off. A man talking to him like, what's up, motherfucker? You want to say something to our girl? Let's go.
What were you saying,
I,
Percy?
I wouldn't even say that it's just women. It's
Other men.
it's everybody.
Yeah.
Because,
Oh, yeah, no, I know
because
what
as a man, not only do we deal with okay, what are said expectations of the woman that I'm either courting, I'm dating, I'm married to. What are her expectations? What are the expectations of my mother, my daughter, whomever?
Right.
But then also, how am I perceived by other men? And that's the mental mindfuck that we go through.
That is that tiptoe line. You have, as a man, you have to be able to walk that super finite line of where am I respected by the women, but where am I also respected by the men? To where I'm not a bitch to the women, but at the same time, I'm not I ain't got my balls in my damn pants no more, to the men,
And it's not that, the John Waynes, the, John Wicks, those tough
Oh, here we go.
characters are pieces of shit because they're too tough. It's the mental battle that we struggle with on it's okay to not be that or to not have to be that 24/7. You can be depressed because you are depressed. Can I tell you why a woman's depressed? No. But her battle isn't. I think what we're going to is we always got to be macho, and the real thing is yeah, hell yeah, we can be. Shit, you two hit the gym left to fucking right. Yeah, we can do that. It's,
I do too, I just don't post
What's
about it.
our mental battle and why? Why can we care about a woman's
Where's it at?
depression, but
It's
not
here.
us?
Trust me, it's there.
But then, just on a quick side note, nobody can call John Wick a pussy because he was defending his fucking puppy.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, no, fuck that. No, John Wick ain't no pussy. I wouldn't square it with him. I saw what that man could do with a library book. I'm good. And a pencil.
And a number 2 pencil.
I synced it. I synced it. That man turned eunuch Theon Greyjoy into another basically eunuch. That man fucked his world up.
Like, as a man, let's say you have a bad day, right? And let's say you take a moment to think to yourself and how you feel. And let's just say you're at that point where it's just too much and the emotion builds up so much that you want to cry. What are the first thoughts that roll through your head as a man when that happens?
Don't let them tears fall.
I'll be honest. Even by myself, I can't.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the point. Like,
I could be alone in a room and I'd be like,
You're by yourself,
Nope.
and the moment you start to get to that point, you're like, nah, can't do
See,
it.
my always first thought is like, that tear falls out of your eye. Don't do it. Don't let it fall.
yeah.
Hold that shit in. Hold it in. Bottle it in. It'll work its way out.
And that is sad. That is depressing to think about.
Yeah.
That in those moments where we do feel that extremely vulnerable, where we should be allowed to release the burden that is on our shoulders, for whatever it may be,
We can't
we
even let
can't do it even by ourselves.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, for sure. Because I'll say this, like, all right, and I've been to too many of these, but dude, I was at funerals, things like that, and even where it's socially acceptable to be like, even then, like, dude, my grandmother passed away, and I was like, our grandmother passed away, but like,
Stoic.
it was hard. It was hard for me to like
To show that emotion.
to show that emotion, and then when it fell out, like I couldn't even stop it.
Yeah.
It just like fell out of me, and I was like, "What the fuck's going on? Like, why am I crying?" But I was like crying like a fucking baby, and I was just like, "I need to get my shit together." Why was that the first thought that I had? Get your shit together. Like, why the fuck are you doing this? And I was just like, because somebody you love just passed away.
Right.
Nope, not okay. Get your shit together. Like,
I'll tell you straight up, man. I've had grandparents, great grandparents, cousins. Like even the most recent one I've had to go to is my cousin, and friend. Yeah, actually, my friend, my friend passed away on his wedding night. Like a really, really good close friend. You know how many funerals I've cried at? None. Because I'm sitting there and I'm listening to the eulogies. I'm listening to all these people talk. I'm listening to all the stories, and I know all the stories that I have. And in my mind, I'm like, I'm gonna miss all this. I'm gonna miss it. I'm gonna miss the future stuff that we could have together. I ain't gonna cry. Ain't no one gonna see me crying. That's how it is. It's like I'm not gonna let someone see me cry. It could be a complete and total stranger that I will never see again. They ain't gonna see me cry.
and it's to what Ryan said. That's it.
And to even add on that is a lot of it is because of the mindset that's put at us. A comedian that I had never met died, that I loved. Trevor Noah, absolutely adored the guy. Whenever he hit live, I was fucking there to watch it. Dude died. I'm at a housewarming party and I feel affected. I'm like, the hell? That's sad. Whatever. And then the next morning when I get home and I'm home alone, my wife left work, kids playing, I bawled out of nowhere. I felt the emotion and bawled. I'd never met this dude, but I bawled. But my combat mechanism to tell my wife, like, I cried.
Couldn't do it.
I know it's a comedian, it's stupid. I've never met.
Yeah.
But I was upset because I'm never gonna have those little moments. And to say it to me, to you guys, sounds foolish. That's the problem.
No, see,
That's the problem right there.
see. Here's the thing, though: is your mental capacity can only take so much. How much other shit prior to that did you bottle up? That could have just been the icing on the cake to let it all out. Your mental capacity can only
Yeah,
take
that's-
so
yeah.
much.
And that was just the straw.
Exactly, the straw that broke that camel's back.
Yeah.
And in my mind, it was, I mourned the death of someone that felt like a friend in that weird way. But the mechanism of telling people, I know that sounds stupid, that's the problem. That's the biggest problem right there, is we can feel that way.
I mean, I'm naturally the same way. Is where I try to find a way to turn it into a joke or kind of find a way to laugh about it.
Right.
You know,
Ryan?
so
Ryan?
it doesn't. I don't feel awkward or I don't feel uncomfortable. But like,
Yep.
exact
Dose.
same scenario that you brought up, which was our grandmother. The funny thing was, is now that I think back on it, like literally, there was one person who like saw me cry, like in regards to her, and that was my daughter.
Yeah.
And that was because she could see, like, she could see the shift and the change in me, like, when I found out. And, like, she didn't say a word. Literally, all she did was just walk over to me and give me a hug. And I just lost it. But, like, at my grandma's funeral, it was like, boom, because my mindset was, I have to be here for my mom. I have to make sure you know, my mom, my dad, my brothers, you know, other family. I'm like thinking about everybody but myself. And I think that as men, that's what we do a lot. Is kind of circling back around to like the mental health aspect of it is we 98, 99% of the time we put everyone else before ourselves.
Yep.
That it's like I don't have time to think about that. I don't have time to worry about that. I can't worry about that. I have to worry about I got this. I mean,
Yep.
I legit have a friend, a really good friend of mine, who yesterday had a funeral for his father. And like literally everything that I heard him saying every time I talked to him was, okay, got this done, is in regards to the funeral. That like I legit at one point just sent him a text and was like, hey man, don't forget to breathe.
Yeah.
Just take a moment to yourself, just take a breath. I know you're dealing with a lot of shit, but just exhale.
Yeah.
You know, his response to me, no, I can't be doing that shit, blah, 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 blah. But he knew where I was coming from.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, let's just not even talk about the aspect of being sad or like even depressed. What about the aspect of just telling another guy that you're close to or your family with, like, hey, I love you?
Yeah.
How often do guys tell each other that?
I will.
You know how awkward that is just to
can
even
live
hear?
I would say
Yeah.
you don't a lot because kind of circling back around to what Mike said earlier, because the first thing, as soon as the way that you quote unquote mentally perceive it to yourself is because you look at another man and you're like, hey man, I love you.
Yeah.
And then boom, somebody's gonna be like, oh, you're gay.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
It's
see,
like-
I can honestly, I can say this. There are a few select people, males, that I will say it to, and it's honestly, you four guys, you know, my kids, obviously,
Yeah.
and then there's 3 other friends that I will say it to, and then because of those other 3 friends, I don't see them very often.
Right.
So
But
whenever
in-
I
but
do
in
see
general,
them, whenever we
yeah.
go to leave, I'll bring them in. I'll give them a hug, and be like, "Love you, brother." Like, I love you, and they know that, and then you guys know that because I've said it to each one of y'all every time. Hell, every time I leave your house after doing these podcasts,
Right.
love you, brother.
Well, it's even.
I mean, I always say it but there's only a certain few people that I do say it to.
Well, the thing is, like, even, and I don't know how it is for everybody else, but even for me, as being a 32-year-old man, like, it's weird for me, and I love my dad. It's weird for me to walk up to my dad and have a conversation with her. All right, love you. It's weird for me
Yeah.
to do that, to say that, and I do it. I don't do it often, but but that's my dad, and I know I love him with all my heart. But it's very hard for me to be able to just look at him and be like, hey, I love you,
You know what's
and I don't know why.
You know what's also strange? All right. Do you know what I think? You know how I think men equate love to each other? And I'll say this only speaking for how I say that, because when you said that, I was like, damn, that's true. Because I don't even say, and I love my dad.
Yeah.
Like, I can say that, but like, as far as like saying it to him, I don't think I've said it as an adult.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah. So like saying that, like, do you know how I think we equate love? Respect. Because every time like I text my dad, and I'm just like, you know, I respect everything you've done for me. Da 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 da. I'm so glad you're my father. Da 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 da. I can tell him those things, but I never end it off with "I love you."
Right.
But think about it. If I were to sit here, I had a conversation with this man sitting behind me last night, and I told him how much like he and my 2 brothers mean to me. I told him. I don't think I said I love you, but I told him how much I respected him. I would told him how much everything he's taught me as a man, as a brother coming up. Like I was like how much I respected him.
Which is the men's equivalent of saying,
I love you. Think about it.
It's like
if
we
I
reversed
told
that.
you, man, this is how much I respect you. Da 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 da. That means the world to you to know that you have gained the respect of another man.
Absolutely.
Like I didn't know this, but Bo told me that. He was just like, man, I just respect you so much as a man. Like da 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 da. Everything
Right.
that you've done, and I was just like, to me, I was just like,
See,
Thank
I
you.
haven't.
like
I haven't
yeah,
gotten this-
that hits different.
See, I haven't
He
gotten
could
the
have been like,
respect.
love you, man. I'd have been like, all right. Like,
I haven't gotten the respect thing from Bo, but I've gotten the envy.
But think about this.
And
like,
that to me hits the same way, is because
more of
that man, you know, he had everything he wanted and everything else, and then he sees what I have, and he's like, I ain't gonna lie, he's like, I wish y'all the happiness. He's like, I envy y'all.
But like, so now think of that, and then like think of conversation women in your family have. How often does your sister or mother say they love each other, or wife tell their mother they love each other? Like in conversations,
We
where
talk
they're
about
just like
busy
talking on
women?
the phone.
No, just
We're just talking about
In
women
gen-
in
in
general.
general.
Like I'm
Yeah.
just saying, like a spouse, a sister, a mother. Like how often do women tell each other they love each other?
it's almost like breathing.
Yeah,
Like,
it's very natural for them to say that.
Yeah.
But for men to tell another man, "Hey, I love you," whether it be family or not,
Yeah.
it's extremely difficult.
Even receiving it
Yeah.
is like, whoa, it's almost off-putting sometimes.
I'm not like,
I can say like just the difference in the dynamic, and it's just talking to my kids.
Mhm.
Me having a conversation with my son, and be talking to him. Oh, I love you. Okay, yeah, love you too. And it's like, you kind of feel the hesitancy in his voice, or he's like, okay, yeah, I gotta go, blah blah blah, love you, and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah,
Right.
love you too. Love him to fucking death. That's my dude. I would lay down and die for that dude. Same way I would lay down and die for his sister, but like a conversation with the sister,
Totally different.
I
Yep.
can be talking to her and be like, okay, I'll talk to you later. Love you, and she's like, okay, I love you too.
Yep.
And it's like just so
Yeah.
easy.
Now,
All my girls is the same thing. Yeah.
I don't have the daughter dynamic of that, but I will say,
No, go ahead.
Oh.
No. But Mike's.
but I will say, like, I'll be on the phone with Austin. Austin's my 15-year-old teenage boy. Have a full-blown conversation. Like, oh, okay, well, I got to go. And then the first thing out of Austin's mouth, love you. Every time. And it wasn't even until recently that, I wouldn't say recently, I would say within the past maybe 5 years, I started doing that with my dad. Because it was always like that mutual understanding, like he knows I love him. I know he loves me, but we never said it.
Yeah.
And then, I don't remember what it was. We experienced loss, and it was, I'd get off the phone with my dad and right before, and like, love you. And he goes, yeah, love you too. And it's real short, it's real quick, it's real precise. You don't feel like you can't feel it, in the voice, in the way you hear it, but it's a love you
Yeah.
type deal. It's real quick.
It's
Real precise.
quick because it's almost like you don't want anybody here.
Exactly.
saying it.
Exactly.
Mike.
But the fact that it is said is something.
Go ahead, Mike.
Two things. I was lucky enough. Now my dad didn't do this, but my mom did, which it was every time I hang up, love you, no matter what. Even if we talked on the phone 3 minutes prior, but if she forgot something, call me back. Love you, cool. My dad never did that, so I have that with her. And as an adult, because most dads are assholes, and they're the ones that do the punishment. You get an
Tough
ass-
exterior.
You get that ass whooping from
Oh,
dad, so you grow up
right
as a
here.
teenager kind of resenting them, and then as an adult, now it's I love you. But I look at my wife and her family being Hispanic, and the way that her family would say it was "te quiero mucho," which means I care about you a lot, but it's never I love you.
Right.
And how that affected my wife and our relationship the first time I said I love you. I'm the one that said it first, and she was.
So what you're saying is,
So I'm not the only one in the room.
Yeah.
I'm not the only one in the room that said I love you first.
No, I mean I did too.
Oh, I
Like,
did too.
I said it first as well.
And
I did
it's one
too.
of those that affected her so much that we've had that conversation that she has to tell my son, I love you. It has never been together. And then, now her parents will say, I love you to Ben, but they won't, they're very hesitantly, will they? But it's always, well, that's just how they are. And, it's one of those things that they were probably learning. It's a cultural difference, but it's, for me, I was lucky enough to have that. So it's, I love you. I make sure to tell my 6-year-old all the time, love you, dude. Just when I pick him up from school, we're driving down the road, it might be a little too quiet, turn on, love you too. For real? You do? Yeah.
It's like
What's I'm saying?
Heat check.
That's
Alright, cool.
my 6-year-old, like Grayson, like he'll walk up to me and be like, he'll be like, hey Dad, do you know I love you? I'm like, I love you too, buddy. Like that's so easy for me to be able to tell him that, but I know there's gonna come a day where it's gonna be a little more awkward for me to when he gets to be a teenager. Like, hey, I love you. Like I know that's coming. It's just it's like an inevitable thing for it to happen, and it's sad that that's a case for men. That love is such a love is such a raw emotion, but it's so hard for us to express it.
It's almost like a taboo word.
Yeah,
too,
it
really
sometimes. Like
It is.
between men. Like,
Yeah.
It's like one of the.
taboo.
And
I wouldn't even say taboo. It's for men. I feel like that's like literally like the precipice of this is the most vulnerable word I can use
That
to
goes back to-
Absolutely.
Yeah.
and or talking to you. This is the most vulnerable word that I can use, and like it's kind of that like as a kid growing up, finding that nerve to go up to the girl and
Yep.
attempt to talk to her and oh, what's your name, or oh, can I get your phone number, or
Yep.
whatever.
Yeah,
it
you're
is.
wildly
Man,
vulnerable right there.
in your brain, you're
Yeah.
spinning out of control. But it's like, oh, I gotta put on this. But in here, you're going haywire.
Yeah.
and that's something else like what you pointed out is fantastic, is because it's not only with men are we afraid to do that. We're afraid to say I love you to your dad, to your teenage kids. It's to women is we are afraid to be the one to say it first because we don't want that. If say I love you and then she says, oh, I love you back, and then 3 months down the road call it Splitsville and be like, you're such a pussy, you done fell in love with me after the first date. Are you fucking kidding me?
Rejection
And-
is what we're afraid of.
Yeah, but it comes with that whole situation.
Yeah.
And
Conditioned to it.
exactly
You're used to it.
And- but I think you're more worried about saying it first and it being used as a weapon against you, which comes back full circle to what you were saying, is we can't open up to women. We have to be this certain status. We have to do all this because if we're not,
Feel.
we feel like we have to
Yeah.
be, because if we're not, it's a dagger right back at us. It's one of those, you point one finger, you got 3 more pointing back at you.
What are you saying, Mike?
Is I also feel like love has lost a good chunk of its meaning and I think about when I was a teenager, preteen, and
Oh, so you mean like 3 years ago?
and we worked, I kind of grew up a little bit in the youth group and stuff, and so celibacy was a thing, and the girls always like, oh, I want to be married, like I want to be in love with someone, or like do sexual things with them. And so I know plenty of people, and I've done it before too, where you throw that I love you because you're in a lustful state that it's hard for you to know what real love is after that, which is why you have guys that like man whores, womanizers. It's things like that to where love almost lost their meaning to them, and it's hard to draw back what actually like, damn, I actually care about that person. Shit, they make me feel great, or is it something to throw out so you can get in her pants? And so that's a lot of the 50-50 the shit that gets thrown around.
That makes sense. I mean, it really
or
does.
or did they get rejected and so now they've built up this armor, this wall that this is not going to happen again. Maybe they did love somebody and it was rejected, and now it's like, well, I don't want to feel that again. I don't want to be rejected again. I don't want to be hurt. I don't want
maybe
to
it wasn't even rejection. Maybe it
so
was
now they don't care. Now
maybe
they
it
put
was
this
you
wall up
were
and they just want to.
Yeah, you're almost like apathetic to it.
maybe it was you were in a long-term relationship and you felt love. She felt love. It was both reciprocated. Shit hit the fan. It didn't work out anymore. And you're like, well, apparently love ain't for fucking me. No, fuck that. Walls up. I'm out to get mine. Fuck your feelings. Oh my god, you're such an asshole. You slept with me one night. Now you want to call me back? Like, bitch. Like, no, I done been down this road before. I know how this shit ends. And then the guy is the asshole for doing what he did, but that's what he knows how to do to defend himself because he's been down that road before.
Yeah, and that's
Somebody has created that monster.
yeah.
In some cases,
And
somebody
Most cases.
I would say, yeah, probably 80-20. Like that monster was created, just like, and it's a vicious little circle here. Just is how the jaded woman gets created too, and that's how they're like, oh, that's why men are trash. That's why this. It's
but
because
it's justified. They justify it.
Is it?
Somebody will. They will try to justify.
Oh,
it.
oh,
they try. Okay,
They
yeah, I
try
got
to
you, I got you.
justify it like it's okay because she was hurt,
And
and now she can act like that.
But
But
the
if a
other
man does it,
if he does the same thing,
he's an animal. He's a
and
An
here's
asshole.
and here's the one thing that really like so since we're on the since we're in the whole relationship portion of this is what pisses me off is whenever a man and a woman can be together, they can do their thing, whatever. If the woman is not happy with it, she can literally turn shit onto the man, like make it to where it's his fault. So that way, whenever the relationship ends, it is oh, well, you did this to me, you did that, you didn't do this, you didn't do that, and she comes out looking like the shining star, and he looks like the piece of shit. When in actuality, it didn't go down like that at all. But the thing is that woman built up that, quote unquote evidence against him to where to all of her friends, and maybe they have mutual friends together, she can go by and be like, no, look, I did this, I did that, and he didn't do this, and he did, and the guy's like, well, no, like, this is what happened, but the problem is she went to him first, and
prime example of what you're talking about.
Okay.
And I'm gonna let Mike go. This is just a little, just to throw in there. Johnny Depp, Amber Heard.
thank you, thank you,
Dude, But the thing is, do you know why all guys were like, fucking finally? Because it happens all the time. But like,
damn right.
because nobody wants to admit that it's 50-50 on that. Like sometimes like men are pieces of shit. They run around beating women, doing whatever.
Exactly.
I was like, sometimes you catch the oh motherfucker da, and they're fucking stealing off on you in the face, and you was like, if I hit this bitch once, I could kill her. Like, but you know what I'm saying? But I can't do that.
I'm going
Like,
to prison.
But then I'm going to prison, even though she was the aggressor.
Swap the
Been there?
couch and the
Been there a time or two? Huh? What? No? Okay. Been there.
I'll say this: I've
Mike.
been there.
What are you gonna say, Mike?
Right? Mike?
So I think that, not to add to that and not to change the subject, is I think there's a couple words that we've used we've used them in a good angle, but we've also, that's our defense to add to the problem of why we're all not comfortable being emotional is,
Here you go, Mike. Pop out of your chair.
oh, no, you good? Is, as we said, oh, they're having a bad day. Whenever you have a bad day, why do we only have to have a bad day? And it's one of those that, a woman can be depressed, and it's, whoa, what the fuck? That's why you had to bring us media. That's why The Sopranos was such a wild off show that fucking skyrocketed. Yeah, mob shit, but it was, you have a leader in the mafia, the alpha gang member, depressed, and that was a huge fucking deal. And it's stuff like that when a man's depressed, especially an alpha, that's a huge, like, what the hell? How the fuck are you gonna be depressed, man? We gotta watch this crazy ass show. This dude's depressed. Alpha, what the fuck's he talking? It's shit like that it's more than just having a bad day. And we didn't just slander that, oh, it's only when a bad day happens, but that's a contributing factor of DJ's upset this week because he had one bad day. Nah, man, he's got problems with the woman. Let's just say that's what it is. It's that shit workouts. It's everything's been going wrong for him. It doesn't have to be just a bad day. Is it
I think it's a matter of not wanting to burden people.
Yes.
That I,
Yes.
I won't say it's as black and white as that's not true and that's not true. I think those two things exist in the same space.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So like, we know, like, as far as men, like, we know what kind of burden. I know what kind of burden DJ bears every day. I know what kind of burden Mike bears with Tyler Percy. Like, so to think like, well, I'm having a bad day, or I want to talk about my day. I don't want to sit there and burden you with my troubles because I know what you're going through. So why do I want to do that to you?
Right.
But people don't think like that. I mean, women don't think like that.
Because a lot of times we're thinking you're potentially on that point of like your cup is already fucking full. I don't want to be that person that says something and then overflows it and then boom, you lose your shit.
Right.
And
I don't want to. I don't want to. Like, that's why I think case in point. I love like the verbiage that you use. I love the word that you use. I don't want to burden somebody because yes, that's a horrible mindset that we have because we feel like just telling somebody how we feel, we're burdening someone else with our issues.
Exactly.
And I love that thought that or the wordplay that you have.
Right.
I'm gonna say something to that, like, and I think I can hit the nail on the head that I speak for every guy in the room
You
here.
want me to hand you a hammer?
Dude, hammer, like,
Right behind you, Mike.
Yeah.
Right behind you, Mike.
Now I have my hammer right here. Oh, Mike's like, finally!
Mike got excited.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm gonna see it.
We're waiting to see his
I'm gonna see
dick.
the hammer.
He's like, camera.
Waiting to see his dick for months.
Yeah, and he's
That man, look at the hammer.
Which end?
Straight Stewie. Gross.
Yeah. All right. You know how y'all used burden?
Yeah.
Or you used burden, and Percy was like, that's a good thought. All right. Think about this. Even if my cup is here, I think I speak for every guy in the room. Even if I think I'm about to have my breaking point, if one of my brothers calls me, I think we're all pretty good at compartmentalizing and being like, you know what? I'll be glad to fucking help you.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Even if it's just to fucking listen, just to hear you fucking, dude, this motherfucker. And it's like, all right, well, this is what you need. All right, you know what? And we're going to get to the bottom of your problem because your problem isn't necessarily my problem, but I can help you through it.
Yeah.
Because it's almost like, all right, cool. I'd rather problem solve and troubleshoot for this shit than deal with my own shit right now. Like, right? All right, hold on. Can I take a vote? Right?
Can-
Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Right?
Can I give an example?
Right? Bam! Nail on the head.
Can I give an example?
Yeah.
I came over to your house one night. Me, you, Kimber, and Jim are gonna go out, and I told you about some stuff that had happened. It wasn't even that big of a deal.
Right.
But
Yeah.
whenever I told you what had happened, you grabbed your fucking car keys and you're like, "Nah, we about to go roll this motherfucker."
Almost
I'm
went
like-
and grab something else.
I'm like, "Bruh, it ain't that big of a deal, dude. Like it wasn't handled, but it was handled." And you're like, "Nah, fuck that."
That's when he
that's-
still had his legs.
Yeah, that's whenever my leg was in a whole brace.
And like you know.
Yeah,
All right. Yeah. That pissed me
What were you
off.
saying,
bro.
Mike?
Yeah, I know. And you were there to help a brother out. No matter what was going on. We had a night planned out, and you were like, "Plans off.
Yeah, we can
We're
drop
going to
all
handle
this
this."
arcade shit.
It's easier for us to solve other people's problems than our own.
It really is.
And you know what I think it also gives us? I'm gonna let Mike go after this, but it gives us a sense of like worth and accomplishment because I think that's a lot of how like men like put themselves out there. Because think about this: when anybody asks something about a man, if you're like your girl, and they're talking to their girlfriend, even when we do it amongst each other, you know, we ask, "What do you do? What does he do? What does he do for a living?
Yeah.
What does he do?" We
Trying to equate the value.
They want to know, he hard working? Is
but
he
we
making
always
money?
do.
Yeah.
We always do because like they came up with happy wife, happy life, which is total horseshit. By the way, it is total horseshit.
Yep.
Because like it takes two of y'all to be happy. To
Exactly.
Happy. But I will say that like it that's where I think that comes from, because like if I feel like, oh, I just made her happy, like even if it was for that long, it makes me feel good.
Ryan?
And it makes me feel like, or if she asked me for something, a favor, hey, can you and you were able to do it, makes you feel better.
Yeah.
Even if it's a slight dopamine hit, I don't know what it is, if it's chemical or what. I was like, but it does make us feel better that like, hey, I was able to do that for you.
It really does. No, it really does.
Not saying it was a favor or some shit, and I'm gonna cash in on it later.
No.
I don't care if any of y'all ask me for
It's-
something. I'll be like, man, I was able to fucking help you.
No,
with that.
I can-
Damn right, and it makes me feel good.
I can attest to that because I've done that.
Hang
I
on,
got
hang
some
on.
next.
Mike needs to go.
So to go back to the hammer nail head, it's 100% agree, because even if I think your problem is stupid, like if I think your problem is minuscule, I would rather listen to you vent than to go to your fucking funeral.
Yep.
100%.
Yeah.
I don't care. Honestly, I don't care if I don't know the dude that well. Like a goofy coworker I can't fucking stand. I would rather him tell me his problem than to know that he died.
Unless your name was Dave and you worked with me and Mike at the city.
But also,
We'll tell you about the ballad of Dave when we have to sit down.
on
Jesus.
that kind of on that note, shit. What did you say?
I'd rather you vent than to go to your funeral.
But then a lot of times we also think, yes, I would much rather you vent than go to your funeral, but then I would much rather you, because if you're coming to me with that type of issue or problem, then apparently we know each other or we trust each other enough to a point to where
Scoot forward, man. Come on.
oh
Yeah, I was about to say, because
There's a
you're
chair
bringing
right
up,
there. There's a chair right there.
You're
Grab that
bringing
chair.
some really good points, and I'm just like, I wish we had another mic. We should have did this shit earlier.
I said 8 years away.
All right.
DJs, 'cause you're gonna
Get yourself a chair.
Well, that's because
He's IT. He don't
That's
matter.
fucking by choice, by the way.
Go ahead, Bruce.
okay.
It really is by choice.
I'm going to
We
the cooler.
didn't banish him. Mike's important.
How y'all make me move down?
I just hit 1, 2, 3, 4.
Show him
Yeah,
how to
go
do it.
ahead and do that. He'll be back.
I said if not, I got it.
Okay, well, with that those same lines, like think about when we talk about just calling people for like bad days and stuff like that. What if you did something really good that you're really proud of for the day, or just something in general, like you did something you feel amazing and you just want to tell somebody? Do
Right.
you not think like it's silly to call a buddy and be like, "Hey man, I did this really awesome thing today"? We don't do that.
I'm not
We
gonna
don't-
lie. If I buy a new gun, I'm telling everybody.
Like if that's
He meant like an accomplishment.
I'm an
that
accomplishment.
is an accomplishment for me. I bought a new goddamn gun today. I'm telling everybody. You can believe this
I'm
fucking
talking about
gun I
I'm
just
talking about something to be like genuinely proud of, like something you did
Like-
really good.
Like an accomplishment, not
Yeah,
like I
not
bought
not
something.
not
That's a
material.
purchase.
I'm talking about like an accomplishment that makes you feel.
Yeah.
Like you think about like you did something really good at work and like they gave you praise and like you feel really good about yourself after having like a shitty day or a shitty week or whatever. Our first thought is not to call somebody and like tell a buddy.
Right.
We just keep that to ourselves.
I said like for a while being like all right, how many times do you hear like, oh, this guy was a great husband, great father, great brother, great son, whatever.
When he died.
Yep.
Nail on the head. You hear that shit when they die. That's the only time you ever hear it, and sometimes it's almost just said as like, I should say this. Right? We can do 100,000 things right. Fuck up one time. How many times are you gonna hear, oh my God, the whole fucking neighborhood's gonna know what a piece of shit husband you were, what a piece of shit fucking
What's that old saying? I
brother.
help you 99 times, but you're going to remind me of the one time I didn't?
Right. That's just, and I've always said this, like, dude, being a father or being a good husband is a thankless job. Like you won't get any praise for it. You won't get any, but everybody's gonna tell mom how great she is. Everybody's gonna tell their wife how great she is. They're like, whether she's doing a great job or not. Like you just like, all right, well, I see you. Like, but nobody's gonna be like, damn, you know what? You're being an awesome fucking husband.
Here's the thing.
You're being an awesome fucking
How
father.
often do you hear men bitch about it?
Never.
How often do you be like, man, nobody appreciates me.
Right.
Nobody appreciates like the contributions that I bring to the table.
And
we
it
don't
can,
we don't do that.
yeah.
And we just move on. We're just like it's just another day.
It's almost to be. It's almost to be.
inside, dude.
It's almost to be. You know why? Because that's our expectation. It's just like nobody's gonna thank me for this, but I know I'm doing this shit.
Yeah.
Like, but nobody thanks me for this. Not saying I need that,
Right.
or want that. It'd be nice to hear every now and then.
Yeah.
Like, but nobody gives a. Well, I shouldn't say this because we are talking about. But I was about to say nobody gives a fuck about our feelings, which is true.
Yeah.
Because like the world.
We do.
Yeah, the word.
We do.
I'll be honest. I'll be honest. And I hate that I'm about to be this honest. But like, if you want to talk about the difference between men and women, or not, we're not. That's not really what we're talking about. But like the difference between men and women, just in this instance, if say something like, let's just say like something were to go wrong, or something were to go wrong with a man or a woman, who's more likely to have aid
Oh, absolutely. The woman every time.
every time, right?
Every time.
You know what?
She can call her mama. She can call her friends. She can call her stepdad, her ex baby daddy.
Not even.
She can call
Not even.
everybody
that.
in the book.
Not even that.
Right.
Guys,
Brothers and sisters.
dude, WIC, women,
Yeah.
infants, children.
The government.
Wit,
Yeah.
snap, all that.
Yeah, dude, just all the things. If somebody's outside under a bridge, there's a man or a woman who's more likely to get more money.
Go woman.
The one, like it is. That's just the way it is. Like, who's going down with the ship? All the fucking men. Who's getting saved?
The women and
Women
children.
and
Look at
children.
Titanic.
Women and children. That's
Minus, Leo. Rest in
that's-
peace, Leo.
That's just the way it is because, like,
Leo could have fit on that damn door. I'm just
not
saying.
saying it's right or not saying it's fair or whatever, but that's just the way it fucking is.
Right, and I think, and I'm pretty sure I did this the night of the party bus. Whenever I get drunk, buzzed, tipped, whatever, I will start, and when I know I'm too far gone, I know I will start telling you how much I appreciate you, love you, whatever. I've made up with people being drunk. Made up with my sister, who I got into it pretty bad with, said I was going to put hands on her the next time I seen her, just for the level of disrespect that she had given. Drunk, I made up with her. Sober, I wouldn't have said a damn thing. I was actually mad at myself in the morning when I got up. And I did that on
Damn.
the party bus. I know I looked over at Todd and I was like, man, I just want to say I appreciate you, dude. Man, when I moved here, I lived here for a couple of years since, but you're the only person that took me in and treated me like family. And I'm pretty sure I said that. I was like, man, Pocket, I fucking love you guys. But I had to be drunk to do that.
Well, see, technically, us three, we are family. And you were work family. You work friend that I felt really comfortable with. And whenever you came out and you were like, oh, I like your podcast, whatever. I was like, you know what? I think he would fit in with all of us.
Came out as in he said that he liked our podcast.
I was about to say it.
Mike is not a homosexual.
I don't know. He does like your penis.
We make a lot of dick jokes.
Mike
hope
does
that
like
it's
your
just,
penis.
Mike is just curious. He just wants that. Is that what the? No, that's a C. All right, no, he's just
He's
curious.
just curious. He just wants to see what it looks like.
Yeah, he just
I wanna know if he really
wants
has
to
it
know
all.
what's in the box. What's in the box? Like, he just wants to know.
He wants to open Pandora's box and not let the monster inside release.
That's that big snake.
He wants
I
to
just
just
wanna
take a
know
little
if he's truly
little
like-
sneaky peeks.
You know.
He wants to tempt the black mamba,
is
not
what-
try to touch it.
God damn,
wanna-
how do we get on my dick?
I want to hear. I want to hear what Percy was gonna say right before he left to go to the bathroom. Oh,
Sorry, so I can't tell you.
Okay.
What main point of
There you
what
go.
you just said? What was that?
Of what?
You just said.
Of the difference between like the men and women? Like who would come to their aid?
Don't mind me. I'm just here.
Well, never mind.
That's where I was
I think
Yeah.
I think what the final word on all of this is men's mental health absolutely matters. Men need to be able to express feelings without the shame, without the guilt.
at. And without
And
it just
without-
being rage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And without it just being rage. Like, we have other emotions. We have sadness. We have depression. We have all these other range of emotions that all women have, all children have. We have that too. We're just not able to express it like we want, like how we need to. We're expected to hold it in, and that's not right. So, long story short, men's mental health matters. We need to be able to talk about our problems, be it to our significant other, be it to other men, without being shamed, without being looked down upon, without being outcast.
You know what? I'm gonna say this, and it shouldn't. I don't want to say like it shouldn't be with your significant other, because it can be. But I think the safest place to do this is right here where we're doing it, and that's amongst other men, because nobody else is gonna understand you more, or you won't feel as validated. It's like, if you say, "Oh man, like this is how I feel," da 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 da, and your girl's like, "Oh, well that's okay, baby. It's fine that you feel that way." You feel like a little relieved there, but like, let's just say if you hear that from another man, like, "Nah, man, I know exactly what you're going through." Wow, really? So it's not just me?
Yeah.
Like, that's a huge like weight off your shoulders. Just being like, just to know that you ain't alone in something. Just that alone. It doesn't have to be the exact same scenario, but it just be like, "Hey, I know what you're going through," or "I hear you and I understand."
You're
Let's
not
get
the
through
only
it, bro.
man going through that situation.
Facts.
You're not.
Yeah.
You may be the first one in maybe your group of friends to
Go
talk
through
about
or
it.
say something. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's not only, man, I know what you're going through. It's just because I might not know what you're going through, but understanding, patience, listening, caring.
Yeah.
I think that's, not only, man, I get it, because I know for my wife, and that's, that's another person, not even in this, we're not talking about men now, but it's, she doesn't want me to say, "No, I get it, babe, I get it." She wants, just tell me it's okay.
Yeah.
And, for us, I feel like that's the same as well.
Yeah.
Sometimes, or I'll just say, I won't speak for everyone. I'll just speak for myself. In the aspect of, I feel like the biggest thing for me is it's not the, "Oh babe, I hear you," whatever. It's just sometimes men just want to feel heard. I just want to know that somebody gave a shit
Enough,
to take
yeah.
the time to listen to whatever. I mean, because I'll tell you, I could go from a scale of fucking pure and utter chaos to just petty. But it's like, just let me be heard.
Yep.
And if I'm just
Listen.
heard, if all you do is listen, I may not even be looking for a solution to the problem or the solution to whatever it is that I'm vocalizing. I just want to know that somebody took the time to listen to what I had to say.
You want to be able to vent
Yeah.
and have someone actually listen to your vent.
Yeah.
Well, without judgment and
Yeah.
feeling like, you're being ridiculed or that
Yeah.
you're going to be ridiculed or.
I'm in a safe space.
Yeah.
I'm in the trust tree.
Venting prevents the eruption.
Yeah, and I will
Yeah.
say this, because like 9 times out of 10, like when guys present a problem to each other, we are looking for a solution. Like if you think about it, like when men actually say something about something, we're looking for a solution. Ah, man, I got this problem with my radiator. Oh, I got that. Hey, I'm looking for a fucking solution.
Well,
Why?
naturally,
Why?
men are problem solvers. Like
Yeah,
we are
we're problem solvers and
Why
fixers.
naturally?
I say when it comes to
are you-
automotive problems, you call me, so
Yeah,
it's okay.
Yeah,
But why naturally are you saying, okay, I'm having, when, in retrospect to what you're saying, you're looking for an answer when you're bringing something up. Why? Because personally, you've already exhausted all options.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So it's like, now you've reached that point to where you're like, okay, I'm backed into a corner. I have to ask for help.
You almost go into panic mode.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn near.
And-
It's damn near
yeah.
anxiety
'Cause-
to where you're
Yeah.
like,
And we didn't even touch that.
Oh, that's a whole nother podcast, guys. We're not gonna get into that.
Stand up and make a sound. I feel like everybody else is gone. I could have been anyone from anywhere, but I chose to be me from right here. And I could have been anyone from anywhere, but I chose to be me from right here. And I could have been anyone from anywhere, but I chose to be me, yeah, from right here. And I could have been anyone from anywhere, but I chose to be me from right here. And I could have been anyone from anywhere, but I chose to be myself.